6 months ago, I brought to you guys the newest from the Hugo Boss collection, Boss Bottle Elixir. If you guys missed that first impression, I'm gonna pop that video up here. Amongst other fragrances that I talked about in that video, this was definitely one of the highlights. Fast forward 6 months, we have yet another new one from the house of Hugo Boss. This time around, another elixir, Boss Bottled Elixir, but Triumph Elixir, not just Elixir. Let's see how this one compares to the other Elixir and other Hugo Boss fragrances. Stick around. Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to unbox this particular brand new fragrance from Hugo Boss, Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir, to see how it compares with the other Hugo Boss Elixir from late last year, and of course, if it has anything to do with the Hugo Boss bottled, DNA itself. This is the Intense, which happens to be my favorite from the line ever made. And the last one, the Hugo Boss Elixir, back in September, October of last year, was actually not bad at all. The current best elevated, refined from the collection. Let's crack this one open and see what this one is all about. So looking at the presentation, the box itself is very similar to the other one if you put them side by side. The only thing is the appointments here are going to be different. The only difference between the two is going to be this one's going to have this bluish hue to the bottle, the box itself, along with the gold appointments. What I have here is 100 ml and it retails for $140 USD. You can find this fragrance where Boss fragrances are sold in the US. I purchased mine from Macy's. I know it's available at Dillard's, what have you, whatever you have available in your neck of the woods, I'm sure you'll have this available in your counter. Looking at both these bottles side by side again, the Elixir, the original Elixir, was a brownish color with gold appointments and even this taupe or golden kind of a cap. This one here is more of a silver kind of a cap with the still taupe kind of a finish, and the bluish kind of a hue to the bottle itself as opposed to the brown of the original. Now let's take this one for a test drive. This is, after all, a first impressions video. I have never smelled the new Elixir or Triumph Elixir, so I'm very curious to try in this one. As far as sprayers are concerned, the Hugo Boss sprayers are not the best in the game, but certainly not the worst. So let's see what we get out of this one. Okay, this one here is going to open up. This is nice, guys. I really enjoy this one. Off the top here, this one here is reminding me of something that I'm familiar with. It reminds me of the Brioni Homme, the blue bottle. I'm gonna pop it on the screen here, which was released a few years ago. Love that fragrance, did a full review for you guys. This one has a lot of similarities with that fragrance. The difference being this is going to be woodier and spicier. That fragrance is a little bit more ozonic. It does have a nice longevity and projection. The performance of that fragrance from Brioni is actually really nice. This one here, I think it's going to be heavier, longer lasting because it is woodier and spicier. That's how it compared to two. Looking at the note breakdown, it's only going to give you 3 notes: violet up top, vetiver in the heart, and patchouli leaf at the base. There is a lot more going on here, I guarantee you. I do get a lavender vibe here, which is not listed as a note. The violet is very predominant here in the top. I think this lavender will actually ride the composition. Let me spray my wrist so that I can figure out the development on skin, and I'll come back here. I'll keep the video rolling. I'll stop a little bit. Of course, you're not going to see me as I stop because I'm going to pause the video and then continue, but I'm going to wear this here for a little while so I can kind of figure out what the development is going to be. But off the top, I'm thinking this is going to be rather violet heavy. It's going to have a little bit of an ozonic feel, but not quite as heavy as Brioni Homme that I talked about. Instead, it's going to be earthier, spicier, with that rooty, earthy vetiver coming through, and also the patchouli leaf in the bottom, which is going to be more of a dry patchouli, not so much of a cocoa patchouli that you would get if you paired it up with like iris, for example. In comparison with the two here, looking at the note breakdown between the two, when you look at the original Elixir from a few months ago, about 6 months ago, this one here had resins. It had a spicier patchouli in the base. Definitely more resinous. You got olibanum, you have tons of different resins up top, along with that patchouli, the cardamom spiciness going on, the vetiver. This one here, definitely a heavier scent. This one, the new Triumph Elixir is going to be a little more wearable. So if you had 2 of these fragrances in your collection, I would say wear Triumph Elixir for day wear, wear the original Elixir for night or dressier situations. This one for more casual day wear, this one for dressier evening situations. But I think both of these fragrances are definitely winners, definitely great ones from the house of Hugo Boss. Definitely not redundant to own both. I'm telling you, right off the bat here, these are different fragrances, period. The whole room's taken by the Triumph Elixir, so it tells me that it's going to have great performance just like the original Elixir, which is a good thing. So definitely getting different vibes on skin that I was getting on the blotter itself. The blotter, it stays quite pleasant and very similar to Brioni Homme that I talked about. However, in skin, it does transition a little bit. You're gonna get this funky kind of a spicy note, which gives me almost like a seaweed nuance to it. There is no, aquatic notes or any, seaweed notes kind of listed here for this fragrance, but I do get, on my skin at least, a funky kind of nuance that's a little bit sharp, sweet, and a little bit astringent. Don't love it. I like it. I don't love it. I think in comparison to the Elixir, I do prefer the Elixir, although I think both are going to be very long-lasting, very pleasant, especially up top. I don't know about your skin, but on my skin, the Triumph is doing something a little funky. I have to get more experiences with it, but on a first impression standpoint, I do think the Elixir is a better fragrance. I do love the patchouli here. This has some nuances to 𝐬𝐲, 𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 extrême, that I love. It's not the same thing, of course not, but it does have some nuances in this fragrance that do remind me of that fragrance, so I do favor this one more than I do this one. Again, between the two, if I had to choose one, I would go with the original Elixir, but do try this one, get it on skin, and you know you can do that at perfume.com. Use my code, MAX12, details below. Get yourself a decant for any new releases that you guys are curious for. You don't have to spend the money and get a full bottle like I do. I smell well, so you don't have to. Get yourself a decant, wear on skin, make sure you love it before you commit to a full bottle. Of course, I'm gonna have everything listed below so you know where I got it, where you can get it. If there's any coupon codes or anything you need to know about this fragrance, I'll have it listed in the description of this video, as always, from a fragrance lover to another. But in a first impression standpoint, this one here, a good fragrance, not great. Like I said, in comparison to the Elixir, the original from a few months back, I do prefer the original Elixir. In comparison to all of the other Hugo Boss, this is a totally different fragrance. They could have made this into a whole different, line if they wanted to. But I guess they want to capitalize on the Boss bottled name, which is a very famous name for the brand, of course. And now with the Elixir, who knows, they might be doing a whole bunch of different Elixir flankers for all we know. I mean, after all, in 6 months, they've given us 2. Of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know if you guys have tried the original Elixir or the new Triumph Elixir. How do you think they compare and which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And of course, I will see you guys back here with another video very soon. Take care.